Hi everybody, I'm Michael and this is the OM system OM-3 camera, and today I want to show you some tips and tricks in the base configuration of the camera. So let's start. You can navigate through the menu faster if you use the wheels. You can use the front wheel for the main menu and the rear wheel for the individual pages. With the menu button on the back of the camera you can go back one step. If you bought it used, it's best to reset all settings first. You can find these in the pink menu on page number 1. Pressing the OK button on the back of the camera during live view on the back screen or the viewfinder takes you to the quick menu, where you will find a good choice of settings. But I'd like to show you where you can find the most important basic settings in the menu and how I would configure them. Let's get in the first menu on page number 1. Once you have made your settings, you can later save them in the custom modes C1 to C5 here and quickly recall them by using the top dial on the camera. First of all, the most important thing to avoid errors is to format your memory card in the camera. You wouldn't believe how many problems can arise if the memory card is not formatted correctly. Go to the pink menu page number 1 and format the card. A short information: if a setting is important to you, you can add it to the My menu by pressing the video record button on top of the camera, so you will always have a quick access to it via the My menu. There are 5 pages available and you will have a nice overview on your selected settings. You can also remove a setting from the My menu by pressing the record button again and choose delete from My menu. But let's start now with the basic configuration of the camera. Let's begin with the image quality. Normally I would say use RAW and edit your photos later in Lightroom or any other editing software. But if you want to use color profiles, you should use both JPEG and RAW, as these color profiles only affect the JPEG and the profiles are very good and you can adjust them to your favor. I recommend using the RAW files beside the JPEG as a backup in case you want to do any further editing on your images if the JPEG does not suit you. Like I said, normally I would prefer only shooting RAW, but the color profiles in this camera, especially the black and white monochrome profiles, are great in this one. If you want, you can also activate an image review on the same page and choose the duration of how long the image will be shown. On page 3 you can adjust the auto ISO settings. I recommend limiting the auto ISO to 6400 because of the noise coming from the small sensor. If you want to denoise your raw data afterwards, you can of course go some steps further here, or you will use the grain for your image style. The camera can capture up to 50 frames per second with autofocus tracking. Not everyone needs the full FPS here, and that's why you can set your desired frame rate for the individual speed settings on page number 7. Here you can change the mode from single shot to continuous shooting and set up your speed for the different speed modes. You can also configure your ProCap mode, especially your maximum FPS, pre-shutter frames and the frame counter limit. You will also find the self-timer here, which can also be configured in time. If you take a lot of photos indoors with artificial light, the anti-flicker setting will also help you to avoid bending. It can cause a little shutter delay, but will save you from some weird pictures from difficult lighting. Next we configure the autofocus in the green AF menu. The camera has a strong autofocus performance. On page 1 you can activate the continuous autofocus. Normally I always take my pictures in the continuous autofocus mode. Here you can also set the shutter priority for the modes. Single autofocus is in focus priority, but I prefer sharp images over speed in continuous mode 2. That's why I set the priority for continuous autofocus to focus 2. The camera has a very good subject detection and also the tracking is great, and of course we want to take advantage of that. You will find this on the page number 2 of the AF menu. Turn subject recognition on and set it to your desired subject, for example human or animal. The camera performs very well in these modes. On page 3 you can turn off the AF assist light if necessary. Sometimes you don't want to bother someone with the small light. For me, I always have this deactivated. You have different AF zones to choose from, and you can also configure one on your own. You can find this on page number 6 of the AF menu, and it's very easy to do. Just don't forget to save your configuration. If you want to focus manually, you have a few tools available. For example, you will find the focus peaking on page number 7, which is my favorite assist for manual focusing. And you can easily configure it in color and appearance too. In the same menu, you can also change the direction of your focus ring rotation. In the yellow settings menu on page number 1, you will find the option to change the key assignment for photo and video mode. You can configure almost every button to your liking. You can also configure the dials for the different PSAM modes here. If necessary, you can also set up the FN switch, so for example, you can use it to turn the camera on and off. On page number 3, you can increase the frame rate from the viewfinder so that you can better track fast moving objects. Just keep in mind this will lower your battery performance, but for me I always have the higher frame rate activated. I can't show you the setting directly because of the recorder connected, but there it is. On page number 4, you can activate and deactivate the electronic level. For me, grid lines are very helpful and should always be activated in a camera for better image composing. The settings for grid lines can also be found on the page 5 in the yellow menu. You will find different grid lines available and can configure them to your needs. Here you can also configure the CP button. With the CP button you can easily change between different CP modes like high resolution capture or live ND and so on. Just keep the button pushed and select your CP mode with the front or back wheel. On page number 3 in the pink menu you can turn off the focus sound. I don't like the sounds and find them very distracting, that's why I always will deactivate it. On page 5 you will find the energy saver configurations. I normally use the on-off switch very often, that's why I deactivate all the energy saver settings or put them on a higher level. And for the last part on page number 6 you will find the language settings in the third row. Independent from the chosen language, you will always find this setting here. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, just like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.